Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about deck building a little bit. So, with any deck, you should usually follow the 3-2 rule, and 3-2 just refers to the amount of engine and non-engine you want to see in your hand. So, about if you were to divide your deck into about 5, right? I guess you would want to see about 3 pieces of non-engine and then 2 pieces of engine, or the opposite. So 2 non-engine, 3 engine. Whatever the case, uh, engine will refer to like cards you play for your combo and stuff, right? So essentially stuff like your archetype cards, your searchers, all of that refers to like as engine. And then for non-engine, that would refer to staples like the going second staples usually, or board breakers. Stuff like Ash Blossom, Joe Spring, and also like Raigeki, all of those would be considered non-engine. So yeah, anything that contributes to the engine can be classified as engine, and then anything that doesn't is essentially just non-engine. So like, for example, I don't know. Let's say I have Doom King Ballad Rock, sure, and I have like Zombie World in my deck or whatever. So if I run Ghost Bell, Ghost Bell does protect like Doom King from like help die, but this is an engine. This won't like help me make my end board necessarily. Well, actually, this is a weird example because in zombies, rarely Ghost Belt can. So let's use different card instead, like Cross Out for called by. That works, but is this actually engine? No, right? Technically in zombies, you can bring back Ghost Spell and use it as a level 3 tunic if you discard it for cost, but let's not worry about that too much. So, yeah. Usually you'll want, like, your ratio of engine to non-engine to be, like, 3-5 or 2-5, you know? So, well, that doesn't make sense. But, like, 2-3, yeah. That's essentially what you want. Some engines are more hefty than others, and of course that means you'll have to run, well, more engine, and that reduces your chances of drawing a hand trap, so this pay off for both usually. When you run like 3-2, the 3 being engine, like 3 engine to 2 non-engine, you'll usually end on stronger end boards because you're committing more cards in your hand to your combo to start with, and usually that ends up with more interactions or stronger boards in general. If you have like 2-3, you have more non-engine interaction, like you have room for an extra negate, like from like an extra Ash Blossom in your hand. Like let's say we have Ash Blossom Imperm, so something like this, Ash Blossom Imperm, and then we have, I don't know, let's say Effect Veiler. Sure. Well, yeah. It doesn't even need to be Effect Veiler, honestly. Just having multiple Imperm works because it has no hard ones per turn. So, like, let's say I have 2 Engine, and then I have, like, Ash Blossom Joe Spring, and then 2 copies of Imperm in my hand. That's going to be 3 negates, essentially, just considering these 3 cards, right? And then there's, like, a 2-card combo I can pull off. And typically, this is around what you would like to see. There's like certain exceptions, like certain decks are so bad that you'll actually end up going like maybe 4-1 or like 5-0, you know? You're just running no staples for like going second or anything like that. It is just pure engine because you cannot play anything aside from like straight up engine. And that is like weird, but like Dark World, Danger Dark World kind of fits that like bill, you know? You don't really have that much space for like non-engine to the point where running it is like almost pointless, to be honest. Because it'll end up like breaking you really bad. Like it's just not super doable. You have like, I think around 3 to 4 cards that you can run, I think, for a non-engine in Danger Dark World or something like that. It's a very small amount. Maybe less, actually. Not entirely certain. I think I run like 2 to 3 personally in my build. But we're getting a little sidetracked here. So if we have like a 2-card combo, here's a really good one. So we have the Blackwing combo. So Blackwing has a really good 2-card combo actually. This is probably one of the best 2-card combos in the game. So it's simply any Blackwing plus Simoon. And let's see if I can find Simoon here. Oh, here you are. So if you do Simoon, banish, doesn't matter. Let's say we just banish Oster. I don't play Oster, but whatever. And then we will use the effect of Black Feather Whirlwind to add Sudri. Normal summon Sudri. Sudri triggers Black Feather Whirlwind as well. Also, we search a card off of Sudri itself. So we add Shamal and we add Sharinga. And essentially this full combo ends on like, let me calculate this out. So ends on Draco Berserker. It ends on Hot Red Abyss. It also ends on like 1 or 2 copies of Blackwinged Assault Dragon and Full Armor Master. And it also ends with Sharinga in the graveyard and access to Chinook. And then you also have like potentially the option to add either Close or Twin Shadow. With Twin Shadow, you can summon Raikiri, which essentially pops 2 of your opponent's monsters. There's some like fine print on here, but don't worry about that too much. So that's like, what was that, 5, 6, maybe 7 pieces of interaction? It's essentially a lot, right? So that's 1, and then this, I think I need to control this for Sharinga, so that's like 2, and then 4, and then this actually is a board wipe, so that's like 5, and that doesn't include the fact that you can actually technically do this board wipe twice if you control 2, because there's no hard ones per turn on this card anywhere. And then there is Chinook, and that was just 2 cards, right? So I still have 3 cards worth of non-engine, so I could drop Ash Blossom and then like Imperm, or I can drop like technically Called By, right? And that would completely like bend my opponent over backwards. That's like 10 interactions or something, right? So even if you doubled your hand size, I can negate like essentially every single card in your hand, assuming you had like 10 cards, right? And some cards, like some engines aren't like that efficient. So if I used only like 3 or 4 interactions, sometimes that would be just like enough to completely stop you in your tracks and you wouldn't be able to do anything, right? But yeah, that's a lot of interaction, right? And yeah, that essentially yeah, you want to build towards 3-2, like if possible. There's some decks where it's just not possible, but it's hard to explain. But I guess you should know when a deck has to run like just an incredible amount of engine, like Danger Dark World. Those are the exceptions, but in general, you should be typically following around 3-2 for your deck building. So right now, typically I think most decks can probably reasonably run about like 3 engine, 2 non-engine, like that ratio. So let's just whip up a deck real fast. So let's do Therion, because I like Therion, you know? And if your non-engine synergizes with your engine a bit, that's always just nice to have, but you don't have to super go out of your way to do it. It's not like required at all. So we're just going to build basic Therion. So essentially Therion Pier. So we'll run like this, and then we'll run like 3 of these. So Therion Charge. We really need to see Therion Charge. There's no other way to go about it, you know? So I guess I won't worry about the extra deck too much because extra deck is a bit more complicated. So let's see. Yeah, we don't run any copies of Alasia. Alasia's kind of whatever. We can run more copies of Yule. And that's okay. And then I actually want to run probably 2 copies of Line, and that's fine, I think. For Therion Regulus, normally you'd want to run 3, but I only have 1. So, I mean, like, this is fine. So, okay, now we have non-engine. We have Called By. And then we have Forbidden Droplet. Probably want to run 3 of that. And then we will run, let's see. I'm pretty sure I want to see Trade In. So let's grab 3 of Trade In. And then that's fine. And then here we will finish up and adjust the ratios a bit. Shouldn't worry about, like, well, you shouldn't worry about going over 40 cards too much. So if you go over 40 cards, it's fine. As long as your ratios are good, you shouldn't, like, super brick hard like that often. So it's fine. So anyways, now we'll grab Lone Fire. Like this, I think. And we still have space for something. So, yeah. We can just throw in Duster, but I would much prefer evenly personally, like something like this. And this is perfectly fine. So we can just do a hand test. And, yeah. So here, we have 1 non-engine and then 4 engine. But, like, for going first, this is pretty fine. I can drop the trade-in and the Therion charge, and that allows me to draw 4 anyway. So assuming I'm going first, like, I will draw 1, 2, discarding this, and then we will do like trade-in again, or Therion charge. I guess probably do trade-in because we're running some level 7s, so we'll play it safe. And discard Regulus, and draw 2 again. And we have Therion Lily Borea. And we have 2 copies of Ash Blossom. We have a copy of Forbidden Droplet. So I think the play is Lily Borea equips. Let's do probably Regulus makes sense. Regulus is fine. And then we'll draw 2 off of charge again. And then we drew into charge and Duke Yule. So we can now Duke Yule equip Therion King Regulus. And then we'll probably get rid of this extra copy of charge. And then use it to search Discoloseum. We'll grab Foom, attaching like Duke Yule, I guess. And then we can maybe make a rank 8 or something. Depends on what we want, I guess. Yeah, rank 8 would be fine using Lily Borea and Duke Yule, I think, right? Since we had Foom with like... We could Foom with Regulus, actually. That would be not that great, actually, right? Yeah. But we still had a lot of stuff here. So this is about what we want to see. So we have 2 here, and then 3 here, and most of these hands just probably won't brick, right? So here we have Endless Engine Yugioh System. And then we can just activate this, and then we can use this with Bull Ein, and we also have Discoloseum, which allows us to add a guy. So I think we would probably want to start off with grabbing, well, I think I would want to probably send Lily Borea first, and then equip it onto Bull Ein, and then we can Lily Borea sending itself, and then activate Discoloseum to grab Therion King Regulus. And here we have just pretty classy. We have Forbidden Droplet with Therion King Regulus negate, and also the negate off of Therion Cross, alongside the Endless Engine Yugioh System in Graveyard, allowing us to negate banish a monster effect. So it's fine. We can do a decent amount of negates with this hand. We have follow-up Duster potentially, and then boom, draw another Regulus, whatever. Here we have 3-2 once again. So here we can do trade in, Therion charge. So we had to do charge here. Draw 2, unlucky, we didn't see anything, but that's like the nature of Therion. So how many hands was that? Like 5? And we bricked 1. But this isn't a full brick. We still have potential for just possible follow-up. And I mean, I can technically also run one more starter in here. Right now, we mostly just have Lone Fire Blossom, with which we have yet to see. But for most decks, you want to run like about minimum, like I'd say like 6 starters. 6 starters is pretty okay. And sometimes you want more than 6 though, it depends, I guess. And then like extenders, it kind of varies like deck by deck. But you do want to try to keep this ratio of like engine to non-engine about like 2-3, 3-2, whichever the case, right? So here we have trade in with Lilyborea, so we just have to go for it, and yeah, we have a perfectly playable hand. Here I guess we would probably go I'm thinking, yeah, Therion, King, Regulus, Lilyborea, and then we can use this to grab either a copy of Discoloseum, or we can grab Endless Engine Agira System. Either one would be fine, and we still end on a lot of stuff. With Forbidden Droplet and Infinite Impermanence, we can do a good amount of damage to our opponent alongside our actual negates and stuff, right? So with this hand, we have Foom Bounce, we have Regulus Negate, and then we'll probably go for Therion Cross. So that is 3 pieces of interaction, like from our engine, and then we have Forbidden Droplet, Infinite Impermanence. So that's minimum 2 more interactions, so that's about 5 interactions. And it can be more technically, because Forbidden Droplet can like send quite a few cards. Kind of depends situationally, but this can do a lot of damage. This can negate like a lot of cards, so yeah. Here we have this as well. This goes pretty hard. Endless Engine Agira System can go off pretty hard. And here we could honestly run more hand traps instead of just Forbidden Droplet, because we're not like super bricking, because like assuming we're going second, like we could technically use Forbidden Droplet sending like Foom, and that allows us to activate Regulus without us needing to do anything else, right? So Forbidden Droplet is decent with Therion because you actually really need like to get these Therion cards into the graveyard. Like Regulus does not put itself or any of the other Therion cards into the graveyard, and that makes for some awkward hands. And that's just kind of how Therion goes, but whatever, I guess. Can we get a Lone Fire Blossom? Oh, Lone Fire Blossom. This is just a 1-card combo, so lucky me, I guess. So Lone Fire is like Lone Fire effect, special summon Mardell. Mardell effect adds Lilyborea. Lilyborea equips Lone Fire Blossom, and then you can grab Discoloseum. Here we have trade in. We could do a trade in. And then we can do second trade-in. Damn. That really high rolled nicely, didn't it? And then we have this, and we have Therion King Regulus. We can add another Therion. So that's like 3 or 4 interactions, I think. And this doesn't include our extra deck. I believe the 1-card combo with Lone Fire specifically is that you make Verte with Therion Lilyborea and your copy of Mardell to make a Verte, and then that just summons DPE. And that's a 1-card combo you can do, and you also have Therion King Regulus, and that's just fully 1-card combo. But that's me just getting a little sidetracked. So aside from this, like, I guess because we're actually not breaking as much as I thought, I mean, we could run one more Endless Engine and Gear System, and that could maybe help a bit, but I'm not sure. Instead of this, we could play more for going uh, for our hand traps, like just strong hand traps in general. So something that activates from the hand ideally and just has some synergy. I think this is alright. We can potentially Ghost Ogre, and we are running 3 copies of Therion Duel as it happens. And there are no machine or plant or like warrior hand traps. So we can just drop Ghost Ogre on our opponent, use this to summon Therion Duel, and yeah, we'll have a body at least. And that will allow us to hopefully like do something with Therion Discalcium. Because Therion Discalcium doesn't like do much for your hand sometimes. Like, sure, I can activate Therion Discalcium to add a dude, but how do I send a dude to the graveyard, you know? Sometimes that issue is present with Therion, but yeah. Essentially, you want like the ratios of your deck to kind of like work out with what you want to be seeing in your hand, right? So here, we're constantly getting like around the ratios I want to see. So this is an odd hand, but this is pure just raw engine. So sometimes like RNG happens and you'll just see hands like this and there's nothing you can do about it. So sometimes you can just see fully non-engine or fully engine. But if you build your deck with ratios in mind, generally you should be seeing like the ratios you want to be seeing. And I mean, like, exceptions happen like this. This is just all engine. But on the bright side, we did not open Mardell in this hand. And that is always a win in my book, because this is the only true Garnet we're playing in the deck, and we should open Mardell, like, 1 out of 10 hands. Every 1 out of 10 hands. Yeah. So here, another cracked hand. And we only have 1 non-engine. Happens. And then here we have 4 non-engine. Happens. And then here we have only 1 engine. So we have Lone Fire Blossom here. Here, it's 5. Oh, and it's the hand I was talking about. Okay, I activate Therion Discalcium, and I pass on literally nothing. I can't even normal summon a card. Isn't that sad? Well, yeah. And then here we have a pretty cracked hand here as well. So yeah, you'll still like end up bricking sometimes. It's just the nature of the game. Like, doesn't happen all the time. Most of these hands are not like just bricks. If my opponent has interactions, some of them they die, some of them don't. And you can build your like deck more around these things, right? But you also have to take into account going second usually. Depends how like competitive you want to be. Like, how I would quantify a good deck is just a deck that can play well going first and second, and just typically always has like some form of options. Like, if you're against controlled deck, do you have an option against that? Do you have like anything? You're getting floodgated. Do you have any way to deal with that? Could you have stopped this in any way, shape, or form? Maybe with like a hand trap, like, I don't know, a Ghost Ogre, Ash Blossom. Did you have anything like that that could have stopped this floodgate? Like, maybe. That would help you out, right? Your opponent drops like, I don't know, Maxi on you. Do you have Ash Blossom and Called by the Grave? Well, that's kind of on you, right? So, yeah. In general, this is kind of just how deck building goes. But in this case, though, we also have fun options like Zeus. Fun. In the sunny sun. Well, yeah. There's, I don't know what there is for rank 7s on, so I'll just put in a copy of Diablosis for fun. Well, Diablosis will be gone soon. Unfortunate. But for deck building purposes, I guess we could just show off like a bit of a weaker deck as well next time. But I mean, like, Therion Pure isn't even that great, I would say. But if we want to see like a different amount of consistency, we could put in Planet Pathfinder, just so we always have something. Planet Pathfinder isn't like that insane, but it for sure helps. So we'll adjust for this. Let's take out 1 copy of Ogre, and then we'll take out 1 copy of Trade-In. and then one more copy of something else. Let's do, I want to run more, let's see, more engine here or more non-engine? Let's see, I think, yeah, this is probably the play. Alright, let's check now, so here, nothing has changed immediately, but I mean, this hand's a brick, unlucky. And then this hand, also a brick, unlucky, unless our opponent is actually going first and we get to activate Ghost Ogre. In that case, we might have a play. If we have to crash Duel, we'll crash Duel, I guess. It's just 2,100. Probably have something to crash into. Uncertain. But we have yet to see any hands with Planet Pathfinder in them, and I would like to see them, but whatever. So, any Planet Pathfinders? Oh, here. We have Planet Pathfinder here. And this is alright. So we can activate like trade-in on Yugioh. Boom, draw 2, whatever. And then we also have option to normal summon Planet Pathfinder, adding a copy of Therion Discolossium, activate Therion Discolossium, adding Therion King Regulus, and then we can equip, like, technically Planet Pathfinder, but since we do have the option to equip Yugioh, I would much prefer to equip Yugioh, because Therion King Regulus can indeed send itself for cost, but you would much prefer sending a different Therion whenever possible. So the follow-up, so the next turn, you would have a Omni Negate as well. So that would be great. Can we see another Pathfinder hand? Okay, so here we have Planet Pathfinder, Therion Charge, Duel. So Planet Pathfinder isn't that insanely crazy. This is just like not that great because it also doesn't synergize with Lone Fire Blossom that well. So you can run this or not, technically, right? It's not, like, that different. Consistency-wise, but it gives us, normal summon, I guess. If you felt bad about, not using your normal summon, I guess. But a lot of our cards are, in general, pretty high power, so that's another thing. The more, like, jank tech you run, the less space you have for good cards you could consider it like that, I guess. Like, for example, I could be running Mirror Force in this build, but I would almost quantify, like, Mirror Force as, like, non-engine, so we would do, like, I don't know. Well, we'd be replacing some non-engine with it, so it's, like, probably like this. Let's go triple drowning, and then I'd go look for one more card we can cut somewhere. So I would say I can cut like one engine for it, probably. I don't want to cut trade-in, but since we're running like so many Therions, I think I would prefer running 3 charge, even though it's hard once per turn. You just really need to see charge, so you can't do anything about it. And then we'll run Lord of Heavenly. We have enough back row where it's like somewhat justifiable. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That is alright, and we can search Therion Cross, so it's fine. So here we haven't seen any of our tech show up, but here we have just running Mirror Force, right? This doesn't really contribute to our engine, so clearly non-engine. And that's fine here. So we'd probably trade in this, draw 2, and double Therion King Regulus. Nice. So just Therion King Regulus equips Duel, and we can just pass on that with running Mirror Force set, I guess. And then we still have Ash, Blossom, Joy Spring, so we have around 3 primary points of interaction with this hand. Not the best, not the worst. Doesn't really change that much with, like, this could have been Ghost Ogre instead, for example. And, I mean, there's, like, value in both of these things. It just depends situationally. Like, if our opponent has back row removal or a spell trap negate, then the drowning here is not going to really pop off, I guess. So, yeah. Here we'll have this, and this is just fully brick. So, set drowning pass, I guess, or we could just Ghost Ogre, I guess. Hey, next draw is Endless Engine and Gear System, though, so it becomes playable if that resolves. So, yeah. You just have to be kind of mindful of your techs, because sometimes your engine is not efficient enough for your techs, so, your techs kind of have to, like, overlap with your non-engine. So instead of seeing this like Lord of Heavenly Prison and these Drowning Mirror Forces, I could instead be seeing like stuff that's immediately usable, like Ghost Ogre, Forbidden Droplet. Forbidden Droplet, even if I don't use its effect on the given turn, I can still set it, and then I'd be able to still use it, you know? Like, either going first or second is still beneficial. Drowning Mirror Force is not as efficient. This is only useful, realistically, like, going first, in my opinion. Because your opponent's already set up their stuff, so assuming I don't have, like, that good of a hand, right? Drowning Mirror Force will not have stopped my opponent from playing, and my cards might have struggled to set up, like, against just what my opponent has, like, wow, that's a top deck you don't want to see. So, like, this hand, going second, this is, like, insanely bad. If you negate my Endless Engine Agiro system, I literally can do almost nothing. I can then... I have to do the follow-up play of Trade-in on Therion King Regulus. Do we draw anything good? Yeah, no. This is utterly unplayable now. So now the only hope I have is for Drowning Mirror Force to resolve and to draw into a playable card. Let's see how many that takes. Lord of Heavenly Prison. You know what? This is actually good enough. That's funny. Since we have copies of Called By. Assuming we still have like a copy of Called By left over, we can just use Called By with Lord of the Heavenly Prison to set a spell trap card. Like Endless Engine Agiro System. So right now we don't have a Therion card, but like, I don't know if this is actually the play. Actually, maybe Therion Charge is better. So the thing is, in my graveyard I would have Endless Engine and Gear System and Regulus, so I'd be able to add back Regulus to my hand. Yeah, but like, we still are missing the other Therion. This is just... Does this allow you to set a field spell? If it does, I guess setting like Therion Discoliseum might be the best play actually, but I mean it gets banished after, which kinda sucks. But let's assume we draw two. Another Ash Blossom. Yeah, so the play is probably just to set this if possible. Otherwise, Endless Engine and Agiro System is okay. We can use the Endless Engine and Agiro System on field to send, like, I don't know, Lily Berea, and then we can use Therion King Regulus's effect to equip Lily Berea after we add it back from the graveyard to the hand. Hopefully, our opponent just kind of bricks and draws into nothing after getting hit by Drowning. Well, that is, like, the hope, I guess. But aside from that, we have just some generics to slow them down, like Called By, Ash Blossoms, potentially, right? And this hand is okay, actually, right? Yeah, whatever. Yeah, this hand is whatever. So, obviously, this deck isn't that good, like, considering what this deck actually does, so... Big whatever. But yeah, just keep in mind that all of your hands you want to be seeing around 3 engine, 2 non-engine, and yeah, that's all I got for you guys today, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.